Have you ever stopped to really look around and question what's happening to our world? Not just the news, the headlines, or the trends, but society as a whole. Because if you take a step back and examine what's unfolding before our eyes, the truth is unsettling. We are living in a time that's more connected than ever before, yet people are lonelier than ever. We have tools that were meant to bring us closer, but they've ironically driven us further apart. Social media has become the mirror we stare into daily, but what does it really reflect? Is it a true image of who we are, or a mask we wear to impress others, to seek validation, to feel less alone? We scroll endlessly, comparing our lives to highlight reels of strangers, forgetting that behind every perfect post is a person just as insecure, just as anxious, and just as broken as anyone else. It's a cycle: wake up, grab your phone, check likes, compare, feel inadequate, repeat. And it's not just affecting adults. Teenagers, children, growing up in a world where your worth is measured in followers, where your identity is shaped by digital feedback. We are raising a generation who may never know what it feels like to live unfiltered, who might never fully understand the value of real conversation, real connection, real life. But that's just the surface. Let's talk about how we treat each other. In public, we are polite. But online, it's a war zone. The anonymity of a screen gives people the courage to be cruel, to shame, to bully, to destroy. Empathy is eroding, replaced by outrage and judgment. We no longer listen to understand, we listen to respond, to counsel, to condemn. We are quick to form opinions and even quicker to destroy someone for theirs. And then there's consumerism. We are taught from a young age that success equals material wealth. Bigger house, newer phone, flashier car. We've been programmed to constantly chase more, to equate our value with what we own. Advertisements bombard us with the message that we are not enough unless we buy this, wear that, look like them. But the saddest part, even when we do get all of that, the emptiness remains. This is just the beginning of the conversation, the tip of a very deep iceberg. We've built a society obsessed with appearance, status, and constant stimulation. Silence now feels uncomfortable. Boredom is seen as a problem. We can't even sit still without reaching for our phones. Notifications are our new heartbeat. We've become so used to constant input that we forgot how to just be. To sit in our thoughts. To reflect. To breathe. And this constant stimulation has rewired our brains. Our attention spans are shrinking. We no longer have the patience to read a full article, to watch something without skipping, or to listen without interrupting. Everything has to be fast, snappy, dopamine-driven. If it doesn't excite us in the first 3 seconds, we scroll past. If it doesn't entertain us, we zone out. But the irony? We are not happier. We are not more fulfilled. We are more anxious, more depressed, more disconnected than ever. Mental health issues are skyrocketing across all age groups. People are silently suffering behind smiles, behind filters, behind carefully curated posts. We put on a show for the world, but when the lights go out, we are left alone with our thoughts, often thoughts we haven't had the time or space to process. And let's talk about relationships. Romantic, platonic, familial, it doesn't matter. They are suffering too. We've mistaken texting for communication, likes for affection, and streaks for connection. We've forgotten how to be present with each other, how to have deep conversations, how to listen without distractions. We sit across from each other at dinner, each glued to a different screen, physically close but emotionally miles apart. Our priorities are shifting in dangerous ways. Clout is valued over character. Influence over integrity. Looks over loyalty. People would rather be famous than be good. They chase virality instead of truth. It's not about what you stand for, it's about how many people saw it. And education. It's not what it used to be. We've created a system that measures memorization instead of critical thinking. Students are taught to pass tests, not to understand the world. Creativity is stifled. Individuality is crushed. We are training workers, not thinkers. Employees, not leaders. The workplace has become another battlefield of toxic expectations. Hustle culture glorifies burnout. We are told to grind, to work harder, to sleep less. That if you're not constantly chasing success, you're wasting your life. But no one talks about what happens when you burn out. When you lose yourself in the process. When you achieve everything, and still feel empty. We've glamorized being busy. Being tired has become a badge of honor. But why? Why do we applaud self-neglect? Why do we idolize stress? Because somewhere along the way, we were taught that rest is laziness. That slowing down is failure. And so we keep running, faster and faster, never stopping to ask why we're even running in the first place. And as we keep running, chasing these illusions, something inside us is dying. The part of us that craves meaning, that longs for real human connection, that wants to feel something deeper than surface-level pleasure. We've numbed ourselves with distractions. We scroll past suffering. We double-tap on pain like it's just another piece of content. Someone could post a cry for help, and it gets lost between a meme and a dance video. We don't process grief anymore, we turn it into content. We don't sit with sadness, we hide it with a filter. Emotions have become aesthetic, not experiences. We perform happiness, even when we're breaking. And if we do decide to be honest, vulnerability online often gets dismissed, judged, or worse, used for clout. Because even sadness is marketable now. And while we pretend everything is fine, the world is burning around us. Literally. Climate change isn't a myth. Forests are vanishing. Species are going extinct. Oceans are dying. But we don't see it because we are too busy looking at screens. Or worse, we do see it, but it doesn't register. It doesn't hit us emotionally. Because we've become desensitized. Too much suffering, too fast, too often. And when everything is a crisis, nothing feels urgent anymore. We've also lost our relationship with nature. Kids grow up in digital worlds, not real ones. Parks are empty, while gaming servers are full. Touch grass has become a meme, not a habit. We used to walk barefoot on the earth, look up at the stars, listen to the wind. Now we stare at artificial light and call it living. And behind it all, big corporations and systems profit off our distractions. Our attention is currency. Our data is sold. Our emotions are manipulated. The algorithms don't care about your well-being, they care about engagement. And negativity sells. Outrage spreads. Division gets clicks. So that's what we are fed. Conflict after conflict. Argument after argument. We are being programmed to hate each other while the people in power remain untouched. This system keeps us divided. Keeps us arguing about differences instead of uniting over shared struggles. We fight each other, instead of questioning the structure that made us fight in the first place. And while we drown in debates and comment wars, real issues go unaddressed. Real suffering continues. It's not just society that's broken. It's the values we've adopted. The habits we've normalized. The priorities we've accepted without question. We chase validation, not truth. We reward popularity, not principle. And deep down, we know this isn't how life is supposed to be. We weren't made for this. We weren't made to live for likes. We weren't made to compare ourselves to thousands of strangers every day. We weren't meant to be constantly plugged in, constantly sold to, constantly distracted. We were made for connection. For community. For purpose. For stillness. But we've forgotten how to be still. We've forgotten how to be bored, how to sit in silence and listen, to others, to ourselves, to life itself. We fill every empty second with noise, because silence reminds us of what's missing. And what's missing? Meaning. Wholeness. Real joy. Not the kind that comes from dopamine hits, but the kind that comes from living in alignment with what truly matters. We've been chasing the wrong things. And it's time to stop. It's time to step back and ask the questions we've been avoiding. Who am I, really? What kind of life do I want to live? What kind of person do I want to be? Because if we don't ask those questions, the world will answer for us. And the answers won't be for our good, they'll be for someone else's gain. We need to reconnect with nature, with people, with ourselves. We need to value empathy again. To choose kindness, not because it's trendy, but because it's human. To help each other without expecting a screenshot or a thank you post. To talk to strangers. To listen without judgment. To stop treating life like a performance and start living it for real. It's not too late. Even though it feels like the world is crumbling, it's not beyond saving. But the change won't come from the top. It starts with us. With how we live. How we treat each other. What we choose to prioritize. It starts with putting down our phones during dinner. With making time for real conversations. With saying no to toxic norms and yes to healthier ones, even when they're harder. Start small. Start with yourself. Because healing the world starts with healing your corner of it. And maybe that's how we begin to fix this broken system. One act of truth. One moment of kindness. One conscious choice at a time. We don't need to be perfect. We just need to be real. Real with our struggles. Real with our feelings. Real with our intentions. We need to remember what it means to be human. To laugh. To cry. To grow. To love. To mess up and still be worthy. And maybe, just maybe, if enough of us choose to wake up, to slow down, to live differently, the world will follow. Not because we shouted louder, but because we lived better. This is not a message of despair. It's a wake-up call. A chance to look around and realize, we can do better. We must do better. Not just for ourselves. But for the ones who come after us. For the kids growing up in this chaos. For the future we still have the power to shape. So the next time you feel the emptiness, the confusion, the loneliness, don't run from it. Let it guide you back to what matters. Let it remind you, this world is broken, yes. But you are not. You still have choice. You still have voice. And that is where hope begins.